Hey, what's up? This is weird. I've never done this before, so bear with me. Happy Friday. Oh, what a week. What a week. Okay, so what do you guys all want to talk about? Can you hear me? Everything coming through good? I don't even know where to look. Camera's up here. All the writing's right here. Um, let's see. Some familiar commenters on here. We got APEC. What's up, buddy? Hope you got your gloves I sent out. Ray Archer, Lou. He's got some great comments for me usually. Um, okay. San Diego. What's up, guys? All right, ask me some questions, man. I want to see what you guys got going on, and any questions, ask away. Let me see. Do I play the piano? No, I don't. My daughter does, and my wife. Let's see. Latticrete 9235. No, I'm not too familiar with Latticrete products. I've started to use them a little bit, but it's 9235. That must be a waterproofing membrane. Anybody knows? What's up, Herb? He's always got some really nice comments for me. Oh, okay, so 9235 is the fast setting deck mud. Here in California, we've always had our, we've mixed our own mud for a long time, and then we have a brand called Dynacrete, which most of you guys have seen, and that's my favorite mud to use. As far as the fast setting deck mud, I've used custom speed slope, and that stuff worked pretty good. It wasn't as workable as the deck mud we have out here, but it did set up pretty hard. But it took about 3 hours. So I think on the bag, Speed Slope said that it takes 1 to 2 hours, and it was a solid 3 before it got hard. So, if it's going to take 3 hours for it to set up, I would rather just float it and come back the next day. Who has 3 hours to sit around till it gets hard? So that's my thought on fast setting deck mud. Let's see. Oh, Jay says, I've been curious to hear why hot mopping is so popular in your area. What are the benefits over liner? So hot mop was actually invented for shower pans here in Sacramento. A company called Bob Stanlin Shower Pans, and a lot of you guys have seen that video I did. And it's just a local thing. I think they took it from the roofing industry, and they probably said, hey, this would work in a shower pan. Probably back then they were doing lead pans or copper pans, and they probably figured, well, why don't we just use roofing felt and hot tar? And so it's a regional thing. And when I started doing it, I thought hot mops were everywhere. When I started doing tile back in 2000, early 2000s, I just thought hot mops were everywhere. And then once I started making videos, people are like, what's that? What's a hot mop? And then I found out, well, it's kind of a California thing. So good hot mop is a very good way to waterproof, but it's definitely done by a specialized contractor. The tile guys don't do it. So hopefully that answers that. I do see I don't know, hot mop. I'd probably give it about 10 more years here in California before it's probably gone. With all of the newer systems, the bonded pans, I just see waterproofing going into the hands of the tile guys. and so that they can set their drains and do all that stuff, do their curbless things. So I think hot mop's a really good way to do it, but I don't see it lasting too much longer. So let's see what else we got. Let me try to answer. Oh, question of natural stone over porcelain from TS Coffee. Um, we did a ton of travertine from like 2003 to 2008. I mean, travertine was the thing to do, and you guys probably all know that. We did miles of travertine floors, and we did showers. There's still a lot of marble showers in the Bay Area, especially you go down to San Francisco. A lot of the older hotels, the Ritz Carlton, a lot of those hotels, all the showers are done in marble, believe it or not. So, um, yeah, you can definitely use a natural stone in your kitchen. It just takes some care. You gotta put a good sealer on it. Um, but I have a video on how to clean tile. Matt with Sack Surface Pro, who came out to my house and did it. I mean, they can take like an old beat up travertine floor and make it look new again. So you can use natural stone. Um, it's just going to take a little more care and maintenance, but nothing can a porcelain. To me, porcelain and natural stone is a totally different look. Um, you can come close with the porcelain. It looks like a stone, but it has definitely a different look. Natural stone will just look warm. It'll look natural, and you can come close, but you can't replace it. So that's what I have to say on that. Um, Scott Bruce asks, which shower waterproofing system is your go-to? Right now, I still like Schluter. I like Schluter Curdy. I don't know. It's probably because that's the first one I used, and I got comfortable with it. I like their drains, and um, I just make a little modification that a lot of you guys probably don't agree with, using the 8+9 over it. But until something comes up better, that's what I'll use. Okay, what do you think of lunchbox table saws? Don't use them. What do you think about sealing marble in showers? Yes, if you have marble, I would definitely seal it. There's a lot of talk in our industry about the white marbles. So if you're doing a white marble, especially some of the cheaper varieties that were coming from China. And you can usually tell the Italian white marbles from the Chinese. The Chinese white marbles will be a little muddier looking. They won't have the striking veins in them. They'll kind of look like, you know, everything's just a little muddier looking. It's not clear, distinct lines. So the Chinese marbles are really porous, even go so far as to say they're moisture sensitive. So those marbles should be set with epoxy and grouted with epoxy if you're putting them in a shower, because they'll just soak up water like a sponge. So, but if you're doing any marble in a shower, I definitely recommend putting a sealer on it. So, oh, Tile Money, what's up, Luke? Hey, great video with Ron on the coronavirus update. Thank you so much for putting that stuff out there. If you guys aren't subscribed to Tile Money, go check it out. Luke has so much good info, and most of you guys probably already know about it, but Tile Money has very, very good information on there. Everything he mainly focuses on the business part of tile, not so much the technical stuff, but a great channel. And the virtual tile summit on April 20th. Probably not, but I'm interested. Maybe shoot me a text, Luke. Let me know what that's about. But thanks for being on here. What is your go-to caulk for corners? And so caulking in the corners isn't something that us here in California do a whole lot of. Because we float our walls, we always relied on reinforcement in the walls and our mortar beds to kind of have our showers act as one unit. So when we'd float a shower, we would never really get cracks in the corners. So we never really paid attention to that TCNA recommendation for caulking and changes of plane. I'm thinking about changing that. I know it's becoming a lot more prevalent to use caulking, but our tile shops don't even stock the caulking here. They stock the acrylic sanded caulking and stuff like that, but that stuff's garbage. It can't be submerged. So if you put it like on a floor wall transition in the shower, it'll just come out. So we really need the silicone, but our shops don't stock it in the grout color, so you'd have to special order it. All the setters here in Northern California, that we just grout it. So, okay, who else we got here? Okay, Jeff Ostroff. Hey, what's up, Jeff? Good to see you here. Jeff, I went and checked out your channel not too long ago, and I saw you had a couple vids, and I went back, man, and you have a couple vids with a million or two views. That's awesome. Doing some cool stuff with Christmas lights and stuff. So respect, man. Great channel. What else we got? Okay. What's up, Tucker? Trying to figure out how to reinforce the second story floor to support a tub. It's a 10-foot span with 2x10 joists, 16 on center. That should be plenty of support. I don't see what's wrong with that. I don't think you'll get too much deflection on that. 2x10 and a 10-foot span, 16 on center. We got any engineers in here just to confirm that? Hydroblock. Hydroblock. They just reached out to me the other day. They keep trying to get me to do one of their systems in a video. I just don't have the desire to do it. I'm not going to say anything good or bad about it, but it's pretty much the weedy system, which I'm not a big fan of. And I can't just say the weedy system. The weedy system that most people do around here, I'm not a big fan of. But apparently they have a fleece now that you can kind of like Curdy, that you can go over the seams with, which I think that would be a better way to do it. But just the gluing of and Latticrete system's the same way, I think, now, where you're basically just rabbiting out. You got a notch. Let me see if I can. So you got a notch, and then the board goes right into that notch, and all you do is have the bead of sealant. Not a big fan of that. So yeah, no, I don't have an opinion really on Hydroblock other than I wouldn't use it. Divot method. I think the divot method is just outdated now. Now, if you got a Curdy flange, why would you do the divot method? I mean, maybe in some certain circumstances, if the drain is already installed and you really want to use a bonded system. But the only reason, yeah, I've been asked about the divot method a lot, but I just don't really see any use for it now that we got Curdy drains. Okay, Robert says, yep, Curdy with 8+9. That's it. Over gypsum, no. Well, so yeah, we've been using a lot of the fiber reinforced gypsum panels, which better known as Dent Shield. So Dent Shield is just the most widely available one. Durock, USG Durock, actually that's my favorite wall board, and it's a fiberglass mat gypsum, but it's really strong, it's durable, and it's got like a cementitious coat on it as opposed to the acrylic coat that Dent Shield has. So it gets a lot better bond when you put your thin set or your waterproofing over it. Sealer you recommend? I've always used Miracle Products 511 Porous Plus or 511 Impregnator. I don't know why. I'm sure I know Stone Tech is really good. I think Latticrete owns Stone Tech now, so they have some really good sealers. Okay, Cameron Morris, what's your take on Go Board for the first 1.5 foot up the wall, then dent shield and waterproof just seams and screw heads with hydroban. That'd probably work. I don't see why that wouldn't work. As you all know, most of the waterproofing is only, I would say, really necessary in that first 1.5 foot on the wall. When we used to do pan liners, and when we do hot mops here or pan liners, same type of method. Those hot mops here in California go about 10 inches up the wall, and up until the mid 2000s, we wouldn't do any other waterproofing besides that. So the hot mop would go up 10 inches up the wall, then it would be purple board, green board drywall, and we would float right over that with no paper or anything. And we never had problems with those showers. They just, all of the water is going into the bottom part of the shower. Then I think once we started building niches and pony walls and things like that, and benches, any horizontal surfaces where water can sit, then it becomes really important to waterproof up the wall. But you know that's just what you need to take into consideration. So what else? Camera Morris. Yeah, if you're doing the go board, I would probably just do the go board. Do it all the way up. Okay, by the way, okay, so this was one of the last videos I made. I made a comment about Home Depot plumbing fixtures being a different grade or different quality than like if you got them at Ferguson's or a true plumbing store. Yeah, I mean, it's a fact. I know for Home Depot, they actually have their own lines. They won't be named the same thing. So if you go to Home Depot and you pick up a Delta valve and it's called, I don't know, just pick a name, Crescent or something, the Crescent line, Delta. That's the only place you will find that valve. You won't find it at Ferguson's because it was made specifically for Home Depot. So I just know that's Home Depot. I didn't mention other big box stores. I don't know if Lowe's has that same kind of hookup with the plumbing industry with Kohler, Delta, Moen, Price Pfister. But Home Depot definitely does. Home Depot has valves that you won't find anywhere else, and those are the ones that are lower quality. So they won't be called the same line. There'll be a different line. But if you tell your homeowner to go to Home Depot and pick up a Kohler valve, most likely that's going to be a different product than you would find at like Ferguson's. So, and they are definitely different quality. So. Okay, let's see how we doing here. Edward Courtney of the channel. If I do a tile half wall around my entire bathroom, would you suggest any waterproofing membrane over the drywall? Not really. I mean, it's not a wet area. I guess you could. Yeah, that's a good question. We usually waterproof out, at least 6 or 8 inches, even on the floors. You got your shower, and then wherever it comes out onto the floor, the wall. But if you get, a foot away from your shower, that wall's never going to get wet. So I would probably do it close to the shower, but after that, I wouldn't put any waterproofing on there. Okay. A bunch of people just hopped on. Okay. Scott Bruce, do you have a video out showing the Schluter mod? Pretty much build Schluter only in the Tampa Bay area. Schluter mod, I don't know what that is. Sorry. Maybe someone can clarify. I'm looking at the new trend, giant ceramic slabs. There's a sweet line being imported from Italy. Yeah, the large format porcelain panels are definitely a trend. Not really a trend I want to get into. I might if I'm forced into it, but I would rather just do big tiles. I like the look of tile. I mean, it's kind of a personal thing too. I understand people don't want grout joints, but if you're doing large panels, you got grout joints in the corners anyways, or caulking joints, however you want to put it. And really, if you don't want grout joints, if you do a 24 by 48 tile, you're pretty much cutting out, almost all your grout joints. Plus, it'll look like tile. I mean, I like the look of tile. I think the look of tile will never go out once you go, with the solid panel of something. Even slab, I'm not a big fan of seeing slabs and showers. To me, it just looks different. I don't know. I love the look of tile. Always have. It just looks classic. I mean, you can go back thousands and thousands of years, and I think our eyes are just trained to seeing tile as an art. So if you want to cut down on grout, just use a bigger tile. But I know it's a thing. I mean, it's here to stay. But to me, it's a lot more modern, kind of a cold, stark look, which I'm just not a fan of. Tucker asks, "What's favorite 10-inch tile saw blade?" Um, the Pearl P4 is my favorite right now that I've been using. Um, I really like the mesh blades. I like how much material they eat away. They don't last as long, and you need to dress them a little more often. But I love how they just eat away the material. So yeah, the Pearl P4. Ruby has one that's pretty good too. Um, Sean Sean Shields, hey, how bad is the virus taking a toll on the business for you? That's a Oh man, that's what I said about this week, man. Thank God it's Friday. Um, yeah, how bad has the virus? That's that's the $1 trillion question, right? And that $1 trillion question. Um, so I had made a video on Wednesday, um, and basically talking about how things were kind of full steam ahead here for contractors. And then last night, our governor actually put out an order for everybody to stay put unless it's an essential business. So actually, um, the mayor kind of put out Mayor Sacramento. He put out a statement trying to kind of clarify what essential is, and construction is one of the industries considered essential. But um, is remodeling a bathroom essential? And that's kind of the question that I had to ask myself today, because that's actually what I was dealing with today is trying to figure out what to do here. And I mean, it's I couldn't really say that my job remodeling bathrooms, most of the stuff we do is high-end work. It's not, I mean, some of our stuff is repair work of stuff that needs to get taken care of, but the jobs that I have coming up aren't like that. They're people that are just ready to remodel their bathroom. So I made the call today. I just said, we're going to take a week off and kind of see how it plays out. um that's kind of where we're at. We're going to play it week to week, but I let my guys know. We're going to finish up what we have going on right now. We have one job. We finished up a job today, actually two jobs today. And then we got about 3 or 4 days next week of finishing up this bathroom. So we're going to finish that up. And then I'm not taking on any more work until, things become a little more clear and a little more settled. But I just didn't feel right. If they say everybody needs to stay inside and not go out, what makes me special to be going out and remodeling someone's bathroom. So that's kind of where we sit right now, but I'm just taking it week to week. and we'll hope for the best, man. Hopefully this thing just kind of plays itself out and try to. I'm just trying to stay positive and but still be mindful of with the seriousness of what we're actually facing. So I mean, it's uncharted territory. I don't think anybody really knows how to act. So, but our tile shops, I mean, our tile shops are still running. Um, they're still open. They're still supplying. Our Home Depots are open. Um, but we'll see. I'll kind of keep updating you guys on that. But thanks for asking. I mean, that's a really good question. Tucker C says the floor is bouncing. Yeah, that doesn't sound right. If your floor is bouncing, um, what plywood do you have on there? Um, make sure it's good, 3/4 inch, tongue and groove, whatever you're doing. Oh, and then Brett Brett Morrill asked about the Bow project, shower for Bow. Great question. That was actually supposed to happen next week, and again with the travel shutdown and everything going on, that's not going to happen next week. So, but a little update: we do have all of the supplies ordered. So the cabinets already. I shipped the cabinet there. The glass enclosure is already there. That got shipped last week. All of the tiles ordered, ready for pickup. All the setting supplies are ordered, ready for pickup. And Emser Tile is actually kicking in all the tile and setting supplies, which is awesome. Emser Tile is a great company, and they wanted to help out, so they're doing that. I had a bunch of tools sent out there, some levels and some um, other tools that we're going to need that I can't, you know, take on the plane. So yeah, thank you guys for all your donations. It's such a cool thing, and I can't wait to do it. And yeah, we were all set up, ready to go. Had the hotels booked, the flights booked, and then as this thing unfolded, it was just like, yeah, it's another thing that we can't make happen right now. But I'm hoping, yeah, as soon as we get the green light, I mean, it's all ready, and it's going to be really cool video. You guys are definitely going to want to tune in and check out that. I'll be taking a bunch of video and probably do like a video series of, you know, probably like 5 or 6, 7 videos of the process, because it's going to be a full bathroom. We're not just doing a shower now. We're doing we raised enough money to, like I said, do everything: cabinets, countertop. Oh yeah, and then MSI is kicking in a prefab countertop. So MSI out of Denver, big props to them too. But all of you guys, it's just incredible. I can't wait to do that with you guys. I mean, that's the cool thing, is like we're all in this together, and it's going to be a really cool project. So I'll keep updating you, but I would say we're probably, realistically, probably a month away from that. But I'll keep I'll keep you guys posted. Okay. Okay. Do you have to board in California? I don't know what that means. Do you have to board in California? From James. Please clarify, James. Isaac Phillips, another Isaac, spelled the right way too. Right on, man. Oh, Dennis, I got one vote for the mustache. Okay. I'm gonna tell my wife, Marissa, she's bagging on me for my mustache, man. So I'm gonna have to tell her I got to vote for the mustache. Okay. Thanks, Dennis. That's awesome. David, yo. I love reading your he'll just comment, he'll just say kick ass. That's all he'll say, which is really, I love seeing that comment every time. Cody, the Arctic support manager informed me you can make a Curdy patch applying Ardex 8+9 to the patch with banding instead of using thin set to apply the patch. Any thoughts? Yeah, I know that 8+9 is some really good space age stuff. I mean, it'll stick to anything, and it cures without air, which is the only product that I know of. And again, probably saw the video that I did with the Hydroban um, cementitious waterproofing membrane. And I did a test, and I took 2 sheets of Curdy and put the Hydroban cementitious in the 2 sheets of Curdy and let that sit for 2 days. And when I peeled it apart, it was still wet. And I think I showed that in the video. But Ardex, it cures right away. I think it like so Ardex 8+9, if it's out in the open, it cures in like 30, 40 minutes. If it's closed in between two impervious layers, it cures in 30 or 40 minutes. I mean, it's awesome stuff. So, um, yeah, I think I don't see why you couldn't. I know uh, who is it? I'm trying to think of his name. Ben with Hamilton Tile. He actually has been doing his Curdy showers using Ardex 8+9 for all the banding, and he's really happy with it. And again, it's basically the same thing they do in Germany. If you don't know how they do Schluter Curdy in Germany, go ahead and look it up. But they use Curdy Call, which is basically Ardex 8+9, and they have to set it with all the bands. They can't use thin set. That's why I get all these people that argue with me about thin set. And there was one guy who actually just made a video that Sal was promoting, and he basically was like 13 minutes of him like trying to discredit all my videos. And I still get that. And all I'll say is like, dude, why check out how they do it in Germany. And but anyways, this guy builds cardboard tests. And the thing that with cardboard tests is, if you don't know, is that um, if you build a cardboard box and you put Curdy or any waterproofing membrane in it, the amount of time it takes for the water to go under all of the bands of thin set is slow enough that the air from the backside on the cardboard can dry it out. So it just kind of evens itself out. The water doesn't keep migrating because the air from the backside can dry it out. But if you put that in drywall, there's no air behind there. So the water keeps seeping till it finds the drywall, and then the drywall sucks the moisture out. So, this guy comes off as like a scientist. He reminds me of like a science teacher or something. He's got some cool stuff. I get it. I'm not mad at them for doing it, but they just don't understand. But yeah. So, anyways, Ardex 8+9 is basically Curdy Call, which they use in Germany and the UK, and that's how they have to do it. They can't use thin set under their Curdy. So, um, anyways, take that for what it is. Um, Dave wants me to try Megalite. I don't know, man. I'm just not you know, customs is, I don't know. I don't even have well, no, customs is around. I don't know why. I used to use a lot of Versabond. Um, Megalite, I'm sure it's a good product. I just don't know enough about it. I know it's expensive. But maybe I'll just do it just for you, Dave, just for you. I'll have to try it out. I've used a lot of Prolite. I've used Prolite before. I'm guessing it's the same thing. Uh, what's up? There's Jason. There's Bo. Jason and Bo, Mile High City. Good to see you guys. We were just talking about you. Yep, we'll see after we kick this virus, man. We're gonna kick its butt. We'll get rid of this crap soon, man. Hopefully, too many people don't die, but we're gonna get rid of it. Okay. Okay, so Dennis McSweeney, he worked at Lowe's and Home Depot, and he's verifying that specific products are manufactured with inferior parts just to cut cost on the plumbing fixtures. So there you go. There's from someone who knows a little more than I do. High Tech Builders, what do you think about the pans from Schluter? I'm not a big fan of foam pans. If you've seen my videos, I've tried a couple, and I just don't like them. For one, our subfloors that we go onto are never flat; they're never level. the drain is never where we need it to be to fit these pans. And I'm sure you can do it if you're building from scratch. You know, you can make it happen. But if you know how to do mud, like if you see my videos, it probably takes me 20 minutes to float out a pan and get curdy on it. So um, I would just rather do that because with a foam pan, you're going to have to self level the floor either on a slab or if it's on plywood. They're never level. If you put a level on a subfloor, you'll see, especially around the shower. It just seems like in shower areas, they got the drain, so you got things coming up, and you'll always have dips in the corners. And that was always my argument with Star Tile about pre-slope was, yeah, maybe if the floor is perfectly flat, you don't need a pre-slope, maybe, but they never are. So you're always going to end up with some puddle in a corner because the floor is never flat. You're putting your liner over a floor that's not flat, and you're going to have a little lake that sits in there. And I know Star Tile, he does other methods. He puts red guard over it to try to keep the whole thing dry anyway. So, but anyways, that's my argument why I don't use foam pans, because the subfloor is never ready for them, and floating is just so much easier. If you're a tile guy, I mean, I think it should almost be mandatory that you know how to float a pan. And I know like they have the CTI test, and that's my issue with them. Like Sal was telling me that I should take the CTI and support it, and I go, well, what do they do? And he told me, I go, so they don't show you how to, like, they don't test you on like floating a pan or anything like that. And he goes, no, they don't have any mud work on the CTI. I go, well, I mean, that doesn't make sense. That should be like the first thing you have to learn. But that, so whatever, I would definitely suggest if you don't know how to float a pan, check out my other videos and start practicing. You can do it on mock-ups, and once you know how to do it, you won't want to use a foam pan anymore. I mean, it's just so fast and versatile that and cheaper. I mean, you get 3 or 4 bags of deck mud is a lot cheaper than those foam pans, and then you don't have the point load compressions. I mean, the foam just seems so chintzy. I just don't feel right putting it in. You know, like every time I have something foam, I'm like, really, we're gonna put this in and tile over this foam? It just seems so chintzy to me. So yeah, that's my take on it. And it's nothing against Schluter, their pans. I mean, it's every foam pan. I wouldn't do it. So okay, is there a tile you absolutely hate? Is that Marissa? Oh, that's Buzz. It's kind of cool being home with my whole family here. Okay, a tile I absolutely hate to install. Mm, I wouldn't really say there is a tile I don't like to I hate to install, um, because I'll just price it out for that, right? I mean, there's definitely tiles that are harder to install if you're doing a 24 by 48. Those are a bear. They're heavy, they're hard to carry, they're hard to cut. But if you just price your jobs out accordingly, you just take the time to do it, or you price it out enough to where you have 2 guys and you're both carrying them, and it makes it a lot easier. And or if it's a small mosaic, a lot of people don't like paper face mosaics because they're very time consuming and tricky. But if you just take your time, and you're getting paid good to do it, it's all the same, right? So there's probably been some tiles where I'm like, screw this, I don't want to use this tile ever again. There you could run into stuff where maybe a mosaic on a sheet of mesh isn't you know lined up properly, so you're having to pull all the tiles off the mesh. Pebbles are like that a lot of times, sometimes where you see all the sheets, the lines, and you have to take those apart. That can be frustrating. But for the most part, um, you know tile's tile. Okay. um, let's see. But one thing about our tile is that we, for the most part, we're doing design install, so we get to design our projects also. So we'll pick tiles. We'll kind of steer our customers in a direction that of tiles that we like to use, and and whatnot. So there's not the surprises. I know if you're working on a project and you're working for a general contractor, there's a designer involved, you might not know exactly what you're getting into until you get on the job site. And then you're like, oh, what's this? And that can be pretty tough. But for us, it's really nice that Marissa is doing the design. So she'll kind of get us some stuff that's easier for us to install. Not easier, just stuff that we're used to and we know what to expect. So yeah, we'll set it all. Any tiles, we'll go for it. A good question, Jamie. Thank you. Okay. Jordan Hutchinson is in Canada and he likes Mapei. I really like Mapei too. We actually just started using a lot of their stuff, and we've been using their fast set. Their what is their Ultraflex RS, I believe, is the name of it. And great. That's like I said in one of my previous videos, that is the best fast setting thin set that on the market, in my opinion. And we also like their regular Ultraflex. They have a really good LHT mortar, nice plastic bags, good pricing on it, and all of their thin sets and grouts just seem to work really well. So I'm actually really looking into maybe using a lot more of their products, maybe stocking a couple pallets of their stuff, because we were using Ardex a lot of Ardex X5, and just kind of trying to get away from that a little bit. Not for any particular reason, but the coverage on the X5 isn't as good. And in my opinion, well, I don't want to really say too much about that, but okay, Taylor hanging on the wall. Taylor hanging. Oh yeah, Slade. Yeah, that's my old Taylor 614 CE. It's a really cool little guitar. Thanks for noticing. Dietrich, your favorite uncoupling. Is Dietrich your favorite uncoupling? That's a good question too. I would have to say it's between Dietrich and what's Ardex's Flexbone. Those are both really good uncoupling membranes. Dietrich, I've done some unofficial testing on like pull-off tests on the uncoupling mat to see how hard it is to pull tile off of the uncoupling mat. And because Schluter has those cutback cavities, it's like it has a little groove. The thin set goes in there and then it locks. That it really locks in there, and that's why when they were using unmodified thin set, it would work so well, because the thin set wasn't sticking to the plastic, but it was locking into those little cavities. And so I like it. I like Schluter Dietrich. The only thing with those cutback cavities, the only negative is that you got to comb your thin set in, right? You got to comb your thin set in a bunch to get rid of all the air pockets, because it's got those little cavities. Where the Flexbone, you just give 1 or 2 passes and you get like full coverage, because the air can move through it. It's not little squares, it's a little weave pattern that as you push, the air goes out of it. So Flexbone is really good, and I think Flexbone actually bonds to the subfloor a little better. Their fleece is a little stronger, a little denser. So if you put down Flexbone with a modified thin set, it's really hard to peel off the subfloor, where Dietrich is actually pretty easy. Again, I don't know how important that stuff is, because they're meant to be uncoupling membranes, right? They're supposed to have some give in them. So but yeah, I'll use either one of those two. The Stratomat, I'm not a huge fan of, just because of my pull-off testing. It doesn't have those cutback cavities, and so it pulls off really easy. But yeah, anyways, uncoupling membranes. And Dietrich's everywhere. It's easy to get. So, but in my shop, I have a couple rolls of Flexbone, and that's what we're using right now. Okay. Have you ever had to change out a cast iron drain on a tile shower floor, top mop underneath? Yeah. Have you ever had to change out a cast iron drain on a tiled shower floor with hot mop underneath? Yeah, we just have to take out the whole. Um, you got to take out the hot mop. We never redo a tiled shower over an old hot mop. We always take the hot mop out, and so yeah, we'll usually go back in with our Curdy after that. But we used to just redo them. You can leave the bottom stage of the drain. That's if it's in concrete, you can just put a new drain top on there. Those old OD Casper drains that we use. So yeah, we have in California when we're doing hot mop. I don't know if you guys out there have seen it, but they were cast iron drains. They were the old 3-bolt OD Caspers. And so there were two stage, you got the bottom stage and then you got your weep holes around the bottom stage and then the top part goes on. We would just take the top part out, take the 3 bolts out, take the top part out, and then, just get a new drain top so it looked new on there. But yeah, we've done that a lot. Okay. I love seeing all you guys on here. I do. I get to read your comments a lot. I don't respond to comments a lot, as you probably notice on my videos. For one, it takes a lot of time, and then I don't want to miss anybody. I don't want people to think, oh well, you responded to that comment and you didn't respond to mine, and but I do read them all, and so it's really good to see you guys on here. Jacob Barr is asking for recommendations on deck mud that he can get locally from Michigan. Yes, I wish Dynacrete. So Dynacrete is a local plant here in Orville, and they've just recently started distributing to Southern California. But they basically just did Northern California, Sacramento, the Bay Area, obviously, and then they went north up to like Oroville and Redding, and then over into Reno, and that was kind of their. Oh, then they're in Fresno too, so kind of central Northern California was Dynacrete's extent of their distribution, but now they've extended down to Southern California, which is really great to see. And I really wish they would open up plants, maybe farther east, but the problem with deck mud is and fat mud, there's no money in it. It's $5 or $6 a bag. So the cost to ship it is really expensive for what the profit margins are. So you basically can't just, get a semi truck, a flatbed full of pallets of deck mud and ship them out back east, because the trucking costs would be outrageous for what the profit margins are. So they would have to build a plant out there, and I think that would be really cool if they did. But obviously they would need the demand out there too. So I think you're probably stuck with using like Mape. I know they make a 4-to-1. Latacrete makes a deck mud. But those are, I mean, gosh, I wish you guys could use our mud, because using those bagged muds like Mape, I mean, it's like night and day to using what we use. I mean, what we use is so much easier, screed so much easier. You get such a better finish. I think it mostly has to do with the kind of sand that they're using in it. But yeah, I would probably say Mape is probably going to be your best bet. That's probably all you're going to be able to find. We all need double dare fan. We all need bathrooms regardless of what's happening in the world. Yeah, you know, I just didn't really feel right going to work in somebody's house. Like, we're shut down. Like California, like we're not supposed to be going out to do anything. I guess we can go outside and walk around, but we're not supposed to go out and do anything that's like not vital. So working in somebody's house, I just didn't feel right at this time. I think it'll loosen up here shortly, but Yeah, we do need everybody needs bathrooms. I mean, they need to get fixed. Some of them are leaking, some are rotting. We need to get them fixed. The content. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so Jay brought up too at Home Depot, the Dowel tile is different than they get directly from Dowel. Definitely. So again, and there's a name for it that there's an industry term for when a company makes a product specifically for a store. It's like two-step marketing or two-step merchandising or something like that. But yeah, so the Dowel tile is made for Home Depot. The I know the 3x6 white subway tile, and I think their octagon and dot pattern, that mosaic that they had, that was made specifically. It had different product numbers, and that was made specifically for Home Depot. I don't know if they're still doing it, but yeah, I know at least 5 years ago when we were doing tons of subway tile, it was cheaper for me to go to Home Depot and get 3x6 white subway than it was to go to Dowel Tile. Even with my dealer discount, it was still cheaper to go to Home Depot. And I asked my sales rep once, and he goes, "Yeah, they just make that one specifically for Home Depot and the quality control." So if they're making it for Home Depot, all of the liability, all of the warranty, all of the liability, everything falls on Home Depot instead of, like, if there's a problem with the Dowel tile, say a Dowel tile shower cracks, the homeowner's not going to call Dowel tile, they're going to call Home Depot, and Home Depot is going to have to deal with it. So there's a lot of costs that go into tile and the setting supplies that are basically for warranty stuff and customer service and also quality control, right? So if the Dowel tile made for Home Depot can be a little bit lesser quality, uh, if there's some flaws that they can just leave in there, then obviously they can make it for cheaper. So yeah, that's a great point, Jay. Thanks. Oh, Tucker asked if we set our bathtubs or do we bring in a plumber. So we've been doing all of our own plumbing for about, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. We've pretty much taken over all the plumbing. So yeah, we set our own tubs, and I'll usually help out with that part. Steve's really good with it. Ronnie's getting a lot better. He's almost there. But usually it's a two-person job anyways. So I'll usually be on site. Either me and Steve will do it or Steve and Ronnie will do it. And today with the acrylic tubs, it's a lot easier to do than the old cast irons. Gosh, those were a pain. And then also they just started making alcove tubs that have, your regular 5 foot alcove tub, that they um, they have the integrated overflow in them now. So you don't have to do, the overflow going down, tie it into a santee. You basically, the overflow connects like a lav sink. The overflow's in the body of the tub, so that you just have one spout coming down, and that's so much easier to deal with. So we just did one of those, and I'm sure that's kind of going to be how the rest of them are starting to be made. So tubs could be really complicated, but they're getting easier and easier, especially with that MZ MZ 20,000 fitting that we use from Jacuzzi. That's the rough in. That's basically, the downspout can just, the what do you call it? The tailpiece can just go right into it, just slips into the rubber part. So yeah, they're making it a little easier on us. When we used to do tubs, cast iron, and trying to get the overflow and the santee and then the drain pipe all lined up, you guys know it can be really tricky, especially if you don't have access to the wall behind it. Okay, channel. Thanks, APEC. APEC, you got to let me know if you got your gloves. I sent some gloves probably 2 weeks ago, so just make sure you got them. Isaac asked for tips on starting Any tips on starting to do some tile work for people as a side biz? Oh, sorry, where did I go? I lost them. Sorry, bear with me. Okay, sorry about that. Isaac Phillips, any tips on starting to do some tile work for people as a side biz? I've done a full bathroom and shower, backsplash, and island. Really enjoy the work, but obviously need more experience. Yeah, just start small. Um, I would recommend even maybe maybe find a tile guy in your area, ask him if he wants help, and maybe just work with him when he needs extra help or whenever you can, just to learn and help him out. Maybe just charge him a cheap rate, 10, 12 bucks an hour. It's a great way to learn and help somebody at the same time. And then I would just do work for people that you know and trust you. And so you can't get into too much trouble. But yeah, start with backsplashes, start with floors, small floors, laundry room, bathroom floor. And, you'll get better at it. Keep watching videos and get a TCNA handbook and you'll learn a lot. And I think it's cool, man. Some people are against it. Some people are like, think that I'm encouraging um, people to do hack work and take work from the pros and stuff. But you know, it's a different day and age. It's an age of knowledge. I mean, the knowledge is out there, and I'm just encouraging people to be their best. I mean, I think that's more important. I mean, there's enough work for all of us, and it's almost like an art. Tiles like an art can be like an art or a hobby. And I encourage people to do it. Try it. Worst thing you can do is screw it up. And if it's a small, like I said, a small bathroom floor or backsplash, you can always redo it. Not the end of the world. So, um, yeah, that's what I would suggest. Just start small. Start with stuff you're comfortable with, and a lot of times you'll learn as you go. Get into a project and you'll run into something that you didn't expect. Then you hop on YouTube and type it in, and you'll usually find the answer. So you'll be better for the next time, or you'll do something wrong and be like, "Oh man, I won't do that again," and you'll learn. So um, Apex says mustache is different. I'm gonna have to. That's gonna be a no vote, I guess. Oh, John Newhouse says the baby mustache looks good. Okay, okay. Tucker C votes against it, so we're like 50-50. Tucker C, by the way, played against you back in the day. Played Addy at Oak Ridge at the same time you were playing. Did we play Oak Ridge? I don't know if we played Oak Ridge. I think you're in a different division. He's talking high school football. So I was a running back. I got a couple old videos. You might want to check them out if you haven't seen them. Like you have to scroll back to like my very first videos, but I have some football highlights in there that are old VHS tapes, terrible quality. This was 1994. So, but anyways, yeah, I love football. Football was my sport, and I love I love coaching football. I coached high school football for 4 years. I've coached my son's junior team now, which is a lot of fun. So, yeah, I love football. It's awesome. My Niners were in the Super Bowl. That was a great season. I mean, it was tough the way it ended, but we had a lot of bonding. So we were fortunate to go to 2 games this year in San Francisco, and took my son and my daughter and her friend on one of the trips, and my wife, and then my wife and my son and my daughter went to the playoff game against the Vikings, and we just had so much fun this year rooting for them and seeing them go to the Super Bowl. And gosh, we were so close, so close. But that's that's sports, man. You win some, you lose some, you know, and the losses make it that much sweeter when you do get the win. That's what I always tell my team, that losses are a part of life, and you learn a lot. You learn a lot about yourself and others. Probably more so when you lose than when you win. So I'm excited to. I hope they get to play the season coming up. Now it's looking like that might not even happen. I mean, can you imagine now with all this going on that they're going to be ready to put 80,000 people in a stadium together again? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I see that happening. I hope so, but anyways, Tucker, yeah, let me know where if you remember playing me. Yeah, leave another comment there. Okay. Oh, APEC asked, do you think the last Ardex and Laticrete vid test, which had some issues, was because you used rapid set at all? I think there was a couple things that caused that. I think thin set being so porous, as you know, if I because I'm painting waterproofing on a substrate, and I was trying to emulate like a mortar, like if we did a mortar bed. Thin set is so porous, and it sucks the water out so fast that I think that was part of the problem. I think another part of the problem was I think I didn't mix the Ardex 8+9 loose enough. I know I learned that it should be looser, but I don't know. A lot of my videos, to be fair, are more to show what can go wrong in like a real world setting. Like, I don't know too many people out there that are measuring exact water ratios when they're setting tile. I mean, I don't see it happening, but I'm not saying it doesn't, or you shouldn't do that. But a lot of my tests are like that, right? I'll read the instructions, and I'll kind of do real world testing. So it was probably that the thin set was too dry and it sucked the moisture out too fast. I think if I probably would have wetted it, it probably would have been better. But it didn't say anything about that on the instructions of the 8+9. But that's just kind of common sense that I was using. And then I think I just mixed it a little too thick, and maybe not mixed thorough enough. Maybe I mixed too much air into it when I mixed it. I don't know exactly what happened with that, but it was really weird. So many pinholes that popped up was really strange. And the hydro band, surprisingly, I was so surprised to see. I mean, there's just like two or three little tiny spots where it came through on the hydro band, and I thought that was going to leak like a sieve. I mean, I could see cracks in it, and the Ardex, just I was so high on it, I was like, oh, this stuff it went on so smooth. I couldn't see any pinholes. I was like, there's no way this thing's going to leak. Like 10 minutes after I fill it up, I start seeing those little spots. So, I mean, my tests are what they are. I'm not in a lab. I'm not, doing them perfect, but that's kind of why I do them, because I want to show, what happens when just a tile guy is out there using this stuff. So I do think the more data that we compile as a community, like if I encourage you guys to try these things, and if you guys send me a video, I would be more than happy to upload it so we can all kind of learn and see what's going on. But yeah, anyways, that's what I think probably happened. Um, okay, Tucker, I'm going to build 2 cardboard Curdy boxes and drop them off at Otile for video review. Again, like I said earlier about the cardboard, I'm not interested in cardboard tests because we don't build stuff out of cardboard. Build a drywall box, fill it up with Curdy, and then drop it off. And I'll be happy to do that. But I can tell you, for the most part, Curdy in a cardboard box will last forever because the air can dry it from the backside, like I said earlier. So it's not a valid test. We don't build things out of cardboard. So build it out of drywall, build it out of cement board, build it out of mortar, build it out of whatever. But yeah, I would love that. Go ahead and build that drop it off and I'll fill it up and make a video, man. Um, Fat Cat says, "What's up?" Yep, we're staying safe, man. We're on quarantine here in our house. So my wife's doing an awesome job. She's cooking for us every day. She's keeping the place clean, trying to keep us all sane. She's doing awesome. Our kids are home from school. So yeah, we're doing the best we can, man. Good to be around family. I have a really hard time slowing down. My personality is go, go, go. I want to do more. I really struggle just sitting here. And it's probably why I'm doing a live feed video right now. My wife's like, "Can't you ever just settle down?" I'm like, "Oh man, no, I always feel like I have to do something." That's just my personality. Okay. Mark, good to see you, buddy. I like Mark was one of my Mark Bidwell, one of my earliest supporters. Really cool guy. We've had a few phone conversations, and he's done a really awesome job on his mom's shower. He's been building a shower for his mom, and I think you can find him on Instagram at, I think it's Bidco, BIDCO1, and he's been sharing a lot of progress on the bathroom he built for his mom. He had a couple kind of deals with run-ins with shady contractors, so he basically turned into the tile guy and is doing a great job. And he's almost there. I don't know if he's finished, but last update I saw, he was really close. So, Mark, let us know if you're done, buddy. Okay. Cody Robinson, I love the Mapei FA grout, which I don't think water permeates much at all. Yeah, I did a little test. I've been doing some grout testing, which I'll probably be making a video here pretty soon on grout. Um, the Mapei, I was really high on it. I really liked how it spread, I like the colors, um, but it didn't dry super hard. And I think a lot of um, these high performance grouts, right? They call them high performance grouts. You got Tech Power grout, you got Mapei, you got the FA, whatever it is, Ultra Color. No, is it Ultra Color? Yeah, Mapei Ultra Color. You got Prism, Latacrete's Permacolor. Okay, so you got these high performance grouts, but what I found is if you go back to your jobs and really check them out, most of them dry pretty soft, and a couple, I'm not going to name any brands right now. A couple of them are worse than others, and Mapei was one of the ones I was really surprised. I mean, I let it cure for 7 days on a grout board, and then I got it wet, and then I just took I took a paper clip and I just barely rubbed it on there, and it started sloughing off. So a lot of these grouts that they're calling high performance, I don't know if you guys have noticed it too, but they don't dry like the old cementitious. Remember, like when we're just using Customs poly blend, I mean, that stuff dries hard as a sidewalk. I mean, it's just, if you go to try to do a repair on a tile, I mean, it's like trying to cut through concrete. These newer grouts, I mean, you go back and do a repair, it's actually pretty easy because you get them wet and the stuff you can scrape it right out. So I'm looking for a grout that's a little more durable. I don't want a grout that, if the customer's rubbing it with a rag, that they start to see color through, because that's not good. And I've seen that happen with a few of these other grouts. So let me know if you've had that experience too. Cody asked, have you ever done a heated shower floor with Dietrich heat? Yes, my own shower has Dietrich heat floor in it. You can check out the video I made. I think it's my complete bathroom remodel or something like that. But yeah, I actually do a little infrared video shoot that shows all the heated floor. Yeah, we got it in the shower. We got it going up on the bench. Yeah, Dietrich heat is great for doing that. So yeah, it works great. We're really happy with it. If you're going to do, I suggest all my customers, if you're going to do if you're going to do heated floors in a bathroom, you might as well go into the shower pan. And there's a couple considerations you need to make. And I should probably make a video on that because I've made the mistake before with the height of the flange. So if you're going to use Dietrich heat, you basically need to put your flange, your Curdy flange, up enough to account for the thickness of the Dietrich heat, because you want your Curdy to be the right level as it goes onto the bonding flange. So if you were to set your bonding flange like on mud, and then you put your Dietrich heat, now you're going to be sitting up higher. You want that Dietrich heat to be the same height as the flange, and then have the Curdy run over that into the bonding flange. So that's the only suggestion I would say to watch out for when you do that. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, so Tucker says he doesn't disagree with the Home Depot thing with the plumbing fixtures, but he says the Delta faucet tore out was the exact same quality as what at a real plumbing store sells. Yeah, I can't speak because that was an old valve. I don't know where it came from, so yeah, I can't say for sure. I was just kind of making an assumption based on the rest of the finishes that they used in that bathroom. They were pretty cheap. Having demoed too many pans built without pre-flow. Yeah. Again, if you're gonna build a shower pan, just do a pre-slope. I mean, it's a really fast step. I use that that rapid set mortar mix from Home Depot in the brown bag for my pre-slopes. And I don't even, I mean, I don't break out a level and tape measure and make sure it's perfect. I just eyeball it. I actually use the bottom plate on the framing, the 2x4 on the bottom going around the shower pan. I kind of use that as a gauge to go off, and then I just slope it right down to the I slope that down to the bottom stage of the drain to get the pre-slope, and then it dries in about 30 minutes. So um, pre-slope is really easy to do. I don't think it's a step that should be skipped, especially if the TCNA says it should be. Yeah, I don't. It's doesn't take much time at all. Okay, Tucker's asking about pricing. Pricing is tough. It's different everywhere. It's different for every company. Different, we all have different overhead. We all have different geographic regions. We have different markets, supply and demand. It's really hard to talk pricing. I don't know. I get people I talk to from Southern California, and I'm blown away at the prices that they can only get. I'm like, man, you guys, they are way underpaid down there. And I think it's just the labor market. I think there's probably more labor down there. Um, and it's just the way it's always been. So it's tough for those guys to break out and be like, look, I'm worth way more than I'm getting paid. But yeah, um, I do suggest though that you price your jobs based on the day or half day that you work. Don't do square footage prices. That's just a joke. And if anybody brings up square footage price to you, you know, I mean, you could always divide your day rate by the number of square feet on the job and give them a price, but don't ever do square footage. You know how long it'll take you, and then figure out how much you need to make. It's pretty simple. It's not a real complicated formula. I can look at a shower and go, yeah, it's going to take us 4 days. So what's my day rate? I know what my day rate is, and that's how much it's going to cost, and add my materials, and it's pretty easy. So keep your pricing simple, and if you don't, if you're just doing estimates for people, kind of like I would just, I like round figures, find out what people's budget is, and then you can start talking specifics. But yeah, I can't really talk pricing because I don't know where you're at and what your overhead is. Oh, Greg Emmett, that's a great question. I want to do a niche, so when you do a niche on the interior wall, I always think about that too. Like, what if somebody goes to hang a picture on the other side? Um, if they try to hang a picture, they're going to probably drill right into your tile. I mean, there's nothing you could really do, um, except tell them. But that's a good point. I have thought about that. That the drywall, you're still only separating a half inch of drywall from the back of your niche. So luckily, tile's tough. I'm sure if they tried to nail something into it, it's going to hit the tile, and they're going to be like, "Oh, I can't go in that." But that's a good point. Probably something we should communicate to our customers and be like, "No pictures hanging here." But that's a great question, Greg. Um, Glad you brought that up. Maybe somebody on here has some trick they do to keep people from doing that. Oh, Chuck asked about Fusion Pro. Oh man, you got to go see the video I did on Fusion Pro. Fusion Pro is for a shower is absolute garbage. Um, don't ever use Fusion Pro. Don't ever use Fusion Pro on a shower. At least a shower pan. Um, it'll just turn to mush, and that's been widely reported. That's just not me. I've heard that from probably hundreds of tile installers that have used it. Uh, I know that Fusion Pro is pretty much going away. I know all the tile shops have taken it out, and I think even our local Home Depot, they've taken Fusion Pro out. Yeah, it's not a good product for showers. Dry floors is probably good, dry areas, but definitely don't put it in a wet area. Okay. Yeah, Tucker says he's been using a lot of X5. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's the coverage sucks. You don't get hardly um, for what you're paying. And they always said that you get as much coverage out of a 40-pound bag as you would a 50, but you don't. It doesn't cover very well, and it also has a pretty big shrinkage rate on it. We've had some issues with shrinkage if you try to build it up too high. Had to remove tiles using X5. X5 lets go of the tiles with no damage to the tile, whereas the same versatile tile comes out in pieces. Yeah, and I think the X5, I think that's a matter of the shrinkage. If you build it up, the mortar actually shrinks, and that will break bond with your tile. Those are the issues that I've had with X5. Gregory Hall just had his shower redone. Yeah, send me pictures. Emails 916tile@gmail.com. Love to see them. Tucker, he's right in my hometown. It's hilarious. Email 916tile@gmail. I'd like to see where you're at. 619 Tundra likes Kiesel grout. So you must be the SoCal guy, Southern California. That's where I first saw Kiesel. Um, that's where I first saw Kiesel grout this last fall. I went down to the San Diego Tile and Marble golf tournament. I don't know if you've been down there, but there's like 150 tile guys playing golf, and it was a blast. Had a lot of fun with my boy Michael with Smiley Tiley. We shot a vid when I was down there. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, I met the Kiesel rep down there, and it sounds like good stuff. We just got it up here in town. Natural Stone Design Gallery is stocking the Kiesel now, and I've been wanting to try it. It's just that availability is always a thing for me, right? Grout. So Natural Stone Design Gallery is probably a 40-minute drive across town to get it, and it's always like, well, what if you need a bag real quick, or if you have to run out? I don't want to fight traffic and you know hour and 20-minute car ride just to get grout. So availability is always a big thing for me. I want to use products that I can find uh, easily and close. So, all right, Apex out. So, yeah, so I should probably get going myself here too. My wife's been really patient while I've been hanging out with you guys. So, um, this has been awesome. I'll do this more. Thank you guys so much for being on here, and it's really nice, talking with you guys, getting to know you. So, maybe I'll start doing this a little more often, and maybe come up with some actual topics that I can talk about, because this was just kind of a whim. I just thought, well, I was sitting here today, I'm like, oh, I should try this live stream thing. Never done it, so I'm really happy how this went, and we'll have to do some more of this, guys. So, um, yep, right on, guys. Okay, all right, peace out, guys. I love you. Love being your tile coach. We'll see you on the next one.